Y'all, I just got fired, but I learned a very important lesson. Let's talk about it. Hey, agent friends, look. It's your girl, Rosemary here, and y'all know me by now. If you follow me on social or if you've been around my YouTube page for a little while, you know that I love to tell you all, just real deal real estate. And some days it's Skittles and rainbows, and some days it is not. And a lot of times we have an opportunity to be reflective on things that went wrong, things that went right, and just how we can overall better serve our clients. So listen, your girl was recently fired by a relocation client that I was referred to. Now, I'm smiling, but believe me, I was not too happy when the clients fired me, but it was a learning moment, a teachable moment for me so that I can move forward and serve clients better in the future. Are you ready for the story? Here we go. So I was referred to this husband-wife duo by someone that I didn't even know on social media, which was really cool that I was able to engage and connect with someone who didn't even know me. And they have friends moving to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they referred me. So that was really exciting. Reached out to the couple. We corresponded for a couple of months and just really got to know them. I FaceTimed them. I had a buyer's consultation with them, and everything seemed to be going really, really well. Now, they were scheduling a visit to come here, and this was kind of going to be, or at least I thought, which is where I messed up because I assumed it was more of an exploration trip. They weren't really familiar with Dallas-Fort Worth, and Dallas is large. There are lots of different places where you can live, and things are not all created equal. So they were going to come here to just really explore the lay of the land. We had scheduled time that we would meet, and they just wanted to just kind of get a better feel for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or so I thought. Our game plan was that when they were going to move here, they would rent for about 6 months. And then after they were here and just got a really good feel for it, they would go ahead and look to purchasing. So I was under, again, the assumption that their trip was going to be a little more easy breezy, just for us to get acquainted with each other and not really hit the ground running and looking at tons and tons of houses. So when they got into town a little earlier than expected, reached out to them. I was already, I had a full day that day, but I just said, hey, here are some areas you all might want to check out. And I have a day lined up for us following the next day of some things that we can go see, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're all good. Well, y'all, that's when things went left. I sent them to an area just to kind of drive around. Again, I'm thinking they just want to explore based on the price point and the criteria that they share with me, but it didn't meet their expectation, okay, which is totally fine. The tough part was that I wasn't there with them to kind of feel the energy and to be privy to some of their conversations. So that was like strike one against me. They weren't really pleased with the area that they were going to. But again, remember, Rosemary's thinking that they're just trying to explore, nothing too final. So the next day when we had our appointment scheduled, I sent them over the first house we would look at. I didn't give them like a list of homes that we would see, but I just said, hey, meet me at this address. I sent them over the listing. It was one that met some of the criteria that they wanted. But again, I'm thinking we're exploring, we're getting to know each other. Boom. Well, they sent me a message and said, you know what, we need to cancel our appointment with you for today. Which was a little perplexed to me because we had been talking about them coming for a few months, and they canceled our initial appointment. And it was kind of abrupt, we're going to have to cancel our appointment. Such and such has to work because we're working remote. And, honestly, we think this time we're just going to really focus on apartments and move on. We'll touch base with you later. So it was kind of abrupt. It was a little awkward, but I was just like, maybe they just decided that they just want to shift focus since they're not purchasing a house right away. Cool beans, no problem. I'm here to help you, and just followed up with them. Well, y'all, this is where it gets interesting. A couple days later, my loan officer that I connected them with before they even got to Texas sent me a message and just said, hey, FYI, such and such asked me for a pre-approval, and I just thought that was weird that you didn't ask me, that they asked me for the pre-approval. So I just sent them a message and said, hey, hope that you're doing great, wrapping up your trip to Texas. Loan officer reached out. I just wanted to see if there was anything that I can help you with, any way that I can service you before you leave. I'm here to help. Y'all, crickets. They did not respond. So y'all, the next day, after not hearing back from them, the clients reached out to me and politely told me that they have decided to work with another real estate agent. And they cited the fact that from their perspective, what they expected their trip to be like was different than the value that I was providing. As a matter of fact, they didn't really feel like I was providing value because they weren't a big fan of the first neighborhood that they went to based on their price point and the first home that we were going to meet at together. Although they didn't see my exhaustive list that I had for us, they just were underwhelmed. So what am I saying? I realized after our final exchange, that I did a lot of assuming, right? Based on our conversations, based on my own experience with relocating and exploring, based on my experience with some of my other relocation clients, I just assumed that what they wanted to accomplish in this trip was a little looser than what they actually expected. So the lesson that I learned in my firing is that while I still stand by it, I don't feel like I had an opportunity to actually service them. I had tons of things to show them and tons of experiences to have with them, but we never were able to connect. Where I went wrong is that I did not properly set up the expectation from the beginning, to say exactly especially since they weren't quite looking to purchase, I didn't set up the expectation of what they wanted from me and what I was going to be able to deliver. So I'm just letting y'all know that in this business, sometimes we do experience firings. And while it stings a little bit, especially if you feel like you didn't have the opportunity to really take care of the client, a lot of times there are teachable moments and we get to reflect so that going forward, I will not make that mistake again. So always set the expectation with your clients. Find out what they're expecting to receive from you so that you can dialogue to make sure that everyone is on the same page so that they don't think that you're ignoring them or not hearing their concerns, and we can reduce some of the firings. Now, if you made it to the end of this video with this very detailed story and you are not subscribed to my channel, what are you doing with your life? And if you are a real estate agent, make sure that you have downloaded a copy of my top 10 commandments for real estate agents. I am dropping gems. I think they're gems. Just things to help y'all in this business because it's not all Skittles and rainbows, but we can learn from every situation. Y'all have a good one.